What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Grey Man Operations. I want to read you a DM that was sent to me by one of my patrons. Hey man, sorry if this is forward. I know I'm fetching my firearm in Jan or Feb. Is there any chance you can make a video saying the first things to buy as a new gun owner, such as cleaning oils, degreaser, brush, barrels, battle cloth, etc. Much appreciated. Firstly, thank you to the patron who sent that. Secondly, to my patrons, as you know, in this video and in every video in the month of November, I'm giving away a 511 select carry pistol pouch. I did a review of it. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's popping up in your screen right now. If you're going to gym or anything like that, and you're going to the beach, or you're going cycling, or you're going hiking, and you want to carry your firearm but you don't want to carry it in the conventional method, the 511 select carry pistol pouch is an excellent option. And if you are a patron, I will be giving one away in this video and the next. If you want to join on Patreon, it's the first link in the video description below if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, the link is the first comment. Let's get to it. Now guys, I do want to back it up just one step and talk about the actual firearm itself, and then I'll talk about the things you should, in my opinion, you should buy after you purchase the firearm. Guys, if you're going to buy a firearm today, there are a couple of things I would advise you to consider. One, try to make sure it's optic ready. If you don't know what that means, you'll see on the slide towards the rear sight there's a little cutout. Often it'll have a plate on it. That means that you're able to mount a red dot to the firearm. Now I know some of you are saying, well, I'm never going to run a red dot, etc, etc, etc. I promise you, almost everyone who's had their slide milled aftermarketly for a red dot, when they bought that firearm, said that they're not going to run a red dot. And then more than likely they saw how amazing they are and found out that they want to run a red dot. Now, I can tell you, running a red dot or milling your slide or customizing your firearm to run a red dot aftermarket costs more than just buying the firearm already optic ready. So you might as well just spend a little bit extra and buy an optic ready firearm to save yourself a lot of hassle of sending it to a gunsmith. You're going to be without your firearm for 2-3 weeks. It's going to cost you more. It's going to be shipping. It's a nightmare. So just in 2024, going forward, buy an optic ready firearm. You don't have to use the red dot, but it's nice to have that option. The second thing I would consider is having a weapon mounted light rail on it. I can't believe they're still selling firearms without it. It's the firearm size doesn't matter. I don't know. My wife keeps telling me size doesn't matter, and I'm like, I totally agree, because it doesn't matter how big or small the firearm is. You should be able to run a weapon mounted light on it. Anyone who's done an actual hardcore combative low light shoot will tell you that the value of this weapon mounted light over a handheld non-weapon mounted light situation, man, it is invaluable. I'm almost at the point where I feel like it is should be considered mandatory. Okay, if you do a course like some of the ones I did, where they strap an electrode to your arm and they electrocute your left arm to simulate it being shot, so it goes completely numb, and then you have to draw your firearm and engage a target in pitch black, and you don't know which target you're going to engage while you're busy fixing your buddy who's been shot and trying to apply a tourniquet. 3. Which one? Oh, he's get hit. He's got hit. He's got hit. Tap rack. Sorry, Billy. Works, it works. Do yourself a favor. Even if you think you're not going to run it, get a weapon mounted light capable handgun, because you don't know what you don't know. Now, having said that, the first thing I would recommend buying is a holster. Okay. What I recommend you do is, prior to buying your firearm, listen, you got to do your due diligence here, because it's going to save you cash and time at the back end. Select your chosen firearm. Let's say it's a Canik Meta SFX. Select your chosen weapon mounted light. Let's say it's an Inforce Wild 2. Go online and see if there are companies that offer holsters for that setup. because there's absolutely no point you getting a firearm and a weapon mounted light, or just a firearm, and then you can't find a decent holster for it. The reason I say a holster should be your first thing is because, let's say miraculously you get your firearm in 3 weeks. The only thing stopping you from carrying that firearm is having a holster. So you don't want the day to come where you go fetch your firearm, like I did when I first got my firearm, because I didn't have channels like me telling me this, but then again I was also pretty much an idiot. Bring it home, and the first thing I have to do is put it in the safe because, I don't have a holster for it. A firearm in the holster on your body is worth 2 in the safe. The next thing, so at this point you still haven't got your firearm, right? You're still a few months away. Buy the weapon-mounted light that you're going to run on your firearm. So you've got your holster. Let's say it's an X300 Canik Meta SF. You've got your holster, and the next thing is buy a weapon-mounted light. The reason I say that is because most holsters that cater for weapon-mounted lights do not cater for the firearm without the weapon-mounted light. And you don't want that first day to come where you get your gun and you can't put it in a holster because you don't have the weapon-mounted light that's required for that holster. Now, I do want to say, it's so hard for me to tell people what to do, but in my opinion, do not buy the base firearm and then a holster for this firearm if you have any inclination to carry a weapon-mounted light. The reason I say that is you're going to have to then buy the weapon-mounted light and another holster. It's a waste of money. Carrying a weapon-mounted light, however big or small it may be, has no real, all these firearms are empty and safe by the way, has no real bearing on safety. Okay? You can be a super brand new shooter having never shot a round in your life. Carrying a weapon-mounted light is not going to affect your ability to safely carry the firearm. And so buy those things prior, so when you get it, who knows, maybe the day you get that firearm, the very next day is a low no-light beginner course. Boom, you can run that course. Try to set yourself up so that when you get your firearm, it's already in its final configuration. The day you get home from getting a firearm, you stick your weapon-mounted light. If you're going to run an optic, buy your optic prior ahead of time, so that when you get the firearm first day, you can run it exactly how you want it. I don't subscribe to the whole you have to learn to shoot with iron sights. In South Africa at least, everybody who owns a firearm is competent with iron sights because your competency requires you to be competent with iron sights. The next thing I would strongly consider buying is a decent gun belt. The reason I say this is important, this is a core essentials belt, guys. As you can see, these things aren't super tactical looking anymore. This is like my EDC gun belt. They're not super tactical looking. You can wear your gun belt prior to carrying a gun. This can be your dress belt even. The reason I say get a decent gun belt is because the amount of improvement you get out of a decent gun belt in terms of carryability, for many people, it's a difference between whether they carry that gun or not. And my philosophy here is I want you to be carrying that gun ASAFP. So once you're at the point where you have everything you need to set your firearm up as you want it, or as you're going to have it in its final configuration when you get it, then it might be good to invest in a decent gun cleaning kit. Now, I'm not going to get into how often I clean my firearms because I don't clean them very often, but that is different for different people, different strokes for different folks. You clean your firearm as much as you want to clean it, but at the end of the day, at some point your firearm is going to need to be cleaned. The reason I don't want you spending money on that when you get your firearm is because I want you spending money on ammo and training when you get your firearm. There is no point, it doesn't make sense to now have your firearm and now be like, well, I can't do this course because I must buy a gun cleaning kit. I can't buy that ammo because I must buy a weapon-mounted light. You know what I'm saying? I can't go train because I don't have a holster. It's good to get these things out of the way first, so that when you get your gun, do you know what? You can go start training immediately. Save around 1,500 Rand for a box of good carry ammo. I have used my entire life Winchester Ranger 127 grain plus P plus. You use whatever you want to use. Nothing you see here is a brand of mine, or do I get any money for if one is sold. But obviously, you want to carry proper defensive ammo in your firearm. So not having that on the day just means you have to drop another around 1.5 grand on something you could have prepared for earlier, which will, and if you had prepared for it earlier on the day, you can buy yourself some range ammo. 2 or 3 boxes of range ammo here in South Africa is going to cost you about $1,000. If you already have your carry ammo, buy the range ammo, because that will more than likely set you up for a training course, a beginner course. Beginner courses here in South Africa are generally 150 rounds max. So you can immediately go do that course, or just fire your gun. Something I say is very important. The first day you get your gun, buy 100 rounds, go immediately to the range and put the 100 rounds through the firearm. You want the confidence of knowing your firearm runs. And then guys, just little extras. If you can, if you find you have all these things and you got some spare bucks, you know, clothing. Urban Warrior make clothing specifically designed for everyday carry, firearm everyday carry. That just sets you up for a greater level of success. You can wear it every day like I wear it, but the clothing is designed to aid with concealment and still make you look good. Medical gear, tourniquets, hemostatic agents, ways to carry that medical gear, also from Urban Warrior. Things like that. The more you set up prior to getting the firearm, the more of your resources you can then spend to getting the training. Because I'll tell you right now, that first day when you chamber around and you put that firearm in the holster, nothing can really prepare you for that day prior to that. So don't think playing with your airsoft or buying a blue gun is going to make you feel super comfortable. It feels different. So if you can set yourself up with everything you need prior, then do that, because it means when you get your gun, you can immediately start getting professional training to maximize your capability. Let's switch the view and give away one of those 511 pouches. Okay guys, I feel like I've done this 1,000 times. I'm going to zoom the screen in slightly so people can see. The last time people said the names were so small that they couldn't see. So I'll do my best to zoom that in a bit. I'm going to take the names of the current active patrons. I just want to say guys, if you are a free patron, unfortunately you aren't eligible for the giveaways. So I'm going to copy those names into our name randomizer and randomize the order of those names. There were 254 names and there are currently 254 active patrons. Then I'm going to take the numbers that correspond to those names. I'm going to copy those and I'm going to paste them into a random wheel of names. And let's just get to the bottom and backspace, because there's always a space there. And then I'm going to shuffle those entries, 254 entries that have been shuffled. I'm going to click to spin. This is going to give me the random number that corresponds to the name that has been randomized and the winner of this week's 511 Select Carry Pistol Pouch number 227. And if we go to the name randomizer, number 227 is Bryce Morgan. So well done to you, Bryce. I'll make contact with you on Patreon and hook you up with that pack. Let's switch the view and we can end off. So well done to that patron. You have won yourself a really cool off-body carry option. Guys, I'm giving away one more of these next week. Next week is the last weekend in November, right? If it is, then it'll be one more to my patrons, and then in December, we're going to be giving away a Canic on Patreon. So join up if you want in on that. Guys, remember, I expressed some strong points in this video because I was a first-time gun owner. Michelle became a first-time gun owner this year. And these are the little lessons we learned. It was actually stupid. Like, I couldn't believe that I wasn't prepared for Michelle's firearm with the red dot, with the peppermint light, with the holster. When it came, fortunately, the Canics come with their own holster. So she could at least carry and practice a bit. But the more set up you are prior to getting the gun, the better it's going to be, I guarantee you. I hope this message answered the questions that patron asked. Those are the things I would get if I was about to be a first-time gun owner. That is it, guys. I'll see you next week for another review. Have a good week. Be safe. Train hard. Cheers. God bless.